El Despoblado, the unpopulated or the deserted place. If you have ever been to nowhere, this is the other side of nowhere. Inhospitable but to only the hardiest, it is a forgotten land that pushes the limits of human endurance and fortitude. A land formed hundreds of millions of years ago that was once the ocean floor and fiery magma spewing from its core. The slow tick of time created geological formations that would be welcome shelter to the original inhabitants escaping the scorching heat. Today, they inspire us. It is in this harsh and wild environment that you can find yourself, that primal sense of adventure and that all-knowing solitude. The other side of nowhere, it's a magical and one-of-a-kind place. And if you're up to this kind of adventure, we're going to tell you all about it. Hi everybody, I'm Todd with Trails Offroad, and I want to tell you about an area you probably have never heard of before. And that is Big Bend Ranch State Park in Texas. When you think of Texas, you certainly don't think about big mountain views and wild desert environments. The state park certainly rivals the national park, but let's quickly tell you what the park is not. It is not an OHV park in Texas. It's an explorer's paradise. It is remote and isolated and bordering Mexico, separated only by the Rio Grande River. It is also an international dark sky park. The park is also shared with hikers, equestrians, and mountain bikers. More importantly, it is an amazing backcountry and four-wheel drive explorer's paradise. It has miles and miles of rugged four-wheel drive roads with fun hill climbs and great washes to cross, not to mention big views. The park resides in the northern Chihuahuan Desert and has over 500 square miles to explore. These roads were once footpaths, wagon roads, and later became ranch roads. Four-wheel drive adventure with spectacular views and amazing camping, recent and ancient history, and a diverse plant life are going to make you want to come back time and time again. If you're used to exploring national public lands in the Great American West, this area is a little bit different, and there's some things you need to know about. First, you need a permit before you can drive into the park. That's easy, you just stop at one of the centers and you get your permit. You can only drive street-legal licensed vehicles, no ATVs, side-by-sides, or dirt bikes. It is best to pick your permit up during business hours, and it must be displayed on your windshield. Since the park is so remote and hard to get to, this is not a one-day trip. Most people camp, and those campsites are limited and by reservation only. This is a very remote and tough environment. The park has some warnings for you to consider. Standard recovery gear and 2 spare tires are recommended.
I think we got a rock and stuck between the brake caliper.
Have everything you need because help is very far away and there's no cell service.
So this is what was making all the noise.
To preserve this pristine environment, all trash must be packed out, and that includes human waste. You can purchase bio bags at the Sauceda Ranger Station. And for your comfort, there are eco-toilets scattered throughout the park. And pack out only trash. Leave all the relics behind for others to enjoy. There are no fuel services within the park, and the nearest town is Presidio, Texas. Be sure to carry extra fuel depending on how long your journey is. And if you want to avoid using those 2 spare tires, air those tires down. It's going to make your trip a lot more comfortable. All of the roads are well signed at the trailhead. If you don't see a sign, stay off the road. Washes crisscross the park, and including the park entrance, as you can see here, many of these roads and campsites will be impassable during rain or monsoon. During a rain event, either near or far, it's best just to stay on high ground and avoid drowning in the desert or losing your vehicle. There is an etiquette to these washes. Number 1, don't enter when it's raining because that is very dangerous. Secondly, you can only travel across the wash from where the road enters and exits out the other side. No travel up or down the wash. Many of the entrances and exits through these washes are clearly visible from the road, while others are going to be pretty difficult to find. A couple of the roads within the park will follow a wash for several miles, such as Fresno Canyon.
Coming up ahead, there's going to be a little spot we can check out an old pictograph. It looks like a parent-child handprint going back who knows how long.
Hundreds of ancient camps and food prep areas and rock art sites are scattered throughout the park. By looking at the grinding stones and the cave art, you can really see that these ancient people were one with the land and used everything at their fingertips to make sure they survived the harsh environment. In some of these sites with rock overhangs, you can still see soot, most likely from fires that had been just burning for centuries, cooking the maza that they ground out in the bedrock mortars. A handful of traders such as Ben Leighton and Milton Favor were the first Americans to settle the area in the 1800s. By the 1870s, small ranches began to spring up, raising much of their own food and herding sheep and goats. Today you can witness that history at places such as the Crawford Smith Ranch and other locations scattered around the park. Around 1910, the Bogle brothers began consolidating small ranches in the area until they amassed over 38,000 acres. The buildings that were once their corrals and their headquarters are now the Sauceda Ranger Station in the interior of the park. While the very first inhabitants of this land left only handprints, some soot, some grinding stones, it was the later inhabitants that would leave bottles, boots, and brand names. These two groups of people had one common need, and that is water. The most recent settlers left evidence of their need for water for consumption in their cattle, and that evidence is a string of windmills scattered throughout the park. Many of them still stand and they are not safe to climb on, while others you can see have been blown down by the breezy winds. Those windmills pumped water out of the ground, and that water needed to go somewhere. You will find a series of tanks, troughs, and pipelines scattered throughout the park. We recommend that you carry at least 2 gallons of water per person per day. And if you need water, you can get it at the Sauceda Ranger Station. While the environment of the park is very harsh and inhospitable, it does invite you to stop and take in the sights and relax a little bit.
Yeah, this sounds like a good place to stop and have some lunch. What do you think?
The designated, dispersed, and by reservation only camping is one of the biggest draws of the park. Until you've been orientated in the park recommends that you do not try to find your campsite at night. If you arrive late, there is a late arrival area right at the park entrance. The campsites are well signed, and if you see the word pen in one of the campsite names, you know it's also meant for horses and other livestock. Some of the sites you can back your vehicle right up to the picnic table or shade structures, while others you need to walk to. Some of the sites have 2 tables, some only have 1. For the sites that have the word pen in their name, you can see evidence of the old ranching days. Not only are there tarantulas and other creepy crawly things, there are bear and mountain lion. Some of the campsites have bear boxes, and you probably want to lock all your food up in there or leave it in the vehicle with windows up. Many of the sites are great for rooftop tents, and there is flat ground where you can park your vehicle. And all of the sites had at least 1 or 2 tent pads. And if this is your first time camping, well, make sure you know how to set that tent up. To find the campsite that suits you the best, you can research these sites on the park's website or in any of the Trails Offroad trail guides. Make sure you do a little housekeeping before you climb into that sleeping bag. Being a dark sky park, you want to use low impact lighting as to not disturb campers that may be nearby. There aren't any trash bins at each of the designated campsites. However, those picnic tables sure come in handy when you're cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Get one side like really soaked in the butter, and then you get the other side soaked in the butter. There we go. Being in the Chihuahuan Desert, coupled with the higher altitudes, means extreme heat and extreme temperature swings. Temperatures can reach 130 degrees on a summer day.
Wow, it sure is hot out here in February. I can't imagine what the summer is like.
Have plenty of water and be self-reliant. Bring some of your own shade and sun protection as you're out there.
Are you guys enjoying these sun hoodies right now?
Clothing with UV ray protection will go a long way to making your day a lot more comfortable.
I don't know about you guys, but my nasal passages are so dry right now.
A cold night and a cold morning is going to turn into a pretty hot day. Start drinking those liquids early. While most of the vegetation requires very little water, it's the cottonwoods that really like to drink it up and show their full lush colors. In this area, it's about December that the trees start to change color. There's an abundance of prickly pear cactus, even purple.
The cactus on the side of the road here is the craziest color of purple I've ever seen in my life.
You will also find mammillaria, rainbow cactus, ocotillo that is going to take the paint off your vehicle, claret cup, cholla, narrowleaf yucca, devil's head. The barbed, spiked, and thorned plant life is going to take its toll on your paint and your body. Desert pinstriping is the largest concern on the unmaintained roads. Many of these 2 tracks are simply overgrown. We go to great lengths to create the most comprehensive off-road trail guide there is. Do like we do. Bring some pruning tools.
Hey, careful when you walk off the main road a little bit. You guys are going to just get annihilated by cactus spikes.
So these are various thorns and splintery things that are out here in the desert, and you can see that they have like little fish hooks at the end. They get stuck in there, they barb, so they're just stuck in there. Hold on, there's more. They're all over the place. There's one there. Oh, that one hurts. There's one there. There we go, nice dry skin. Yep. Scratches all over. That's desert life.
There's no question that the Chihuahuan Desert can seem rather bleak during the midday, but it's those golden hours that really bring the color out. Getting to and from Big Bend Ranch State Park is no easy feat. It really is on the other side of nowhere, But on the way or the way back, if you have some time, there's a couple things we recommend you check out. Coming from the park to the east, you're most likely going to go through Terralingua, a ghost town that was originally formed in the late 1800s to mine cinnabar. And today it offers your best source for luxury lodging and food when visiting the park. If you're coming in from the west, you're going to go through Presidio, Texas. Presidio, Texas was settled thousands and thousands of years ago by hunters and gatherers. The first Spaniards arrived in 1535. You can see the Spanish influence all throughout the town. It is a convergence of Texan, American, and Mexican cultures. Santa Teresa's roots go all the way back to 1683 in the Spanish. The current church was built in 1912. As you come northwest out of Marfa, Texas, it gets really interesting. It's like an oversized western set on the side of the road. Then there is the miniature shoe store. The store is bordered with a three-sided fence with thousands of locks and keys. It's easy to pass by this Prada store in the middle of nowhere. And then there was our favorite, a reminder to pack out more than you pack in and stay on the road and leave no trace. That's it. I really hope you like Big Bend Ranch State Park. If you're looking for the road information and camping information, be sure to check out trailsoffroad.com on the web or go to any of our apps. We hope to see you out on the trail.